It is day 13 of 21 days of wellness with the wellness professor Leo Simpson the second. And I tell you, it has been a phenomenal journey, a phenomenal experience. 13 days, right? And we literally have what? Let me see. Oh man, I forgot my numbers. 13. Man, why am I slow on my numbers right now? 13 days? 8 days. I'm sorry. Whew, man, 8 days left. All right, I was slow on that. Anyway, well, it's okay to be slow sometimes. Just get some wellness back, right? Anyway, so we've been talking about a lot of different aspects of wellness. And, I got to keep a look on my microphone. Got the extra over here. You see? We've been talking about a lot of different aspects of wellness. And we've been talking about wellness mindset, wealth wellness, influence wellness, talking about some things with regard to wellness. And I want to talk about kid wellness. It's so important that we deal with the wellness of our kids first in our own home, right? In our extended families thereafter to be a good support to that, and then even beyond the extended families within the context of our society. And in some instances, we as people, we have solutions that can be of value to the educational system, to schools, to students specifically through the school system and all of that. And it's very important to give regard to that. One thing that I want to talk about in regard to kid wellness is there is a huge restriction and confusion. I use the phrases chaos, frustration, and confusion. There is some significant and very certain chaos, frustration, and confusion that is affecting and plaguing our kids today. Now, you would think it might be in the context of aspects of maybe technology, as advanced as they are in the digital things and all of that kind of stuff. Some of it is connected with the exposures related to technology and whatnot. But the truth is, our kids are dealing with chaos, frustration, and confusion in their school life, their family life, and identity. And really, they're dealing with it more at the level of identity than anything. And I want to make sure that when I talk about identity, I'm talking about identity within the context of their thought process and mindset about who they are as it pertains to their worth and value, right? And so there is a perspective that I teach called the 5 greatness sayings. And it's for everybody, but we have it specifically for kids in many instances and how we deliver it and share it, simply because they are the ones that are struggling with their identity in a certain way right now. And why do we call it the greatness sayings? Here's why. If you don't believe you're great, it doesn't matter what anybody else says. However, what you say is going to influence your ability to be great more than what somebody else says. However, somebody else can say the greatness sayings and position you to benefit from the greatness sayings. What are these greatness sayings? There are 5 greatness sayings. I am loved, first person. They can be said in the third person too, and I'll come back to that. I am loved. I am unique. I am valuable. I was created for greatness and great things. I was created to live a life of contribution. Now, as you can see, this is so valuable even for adults, because don't we need to know that we are loved? Don't I need to know that I'm loved? Don't I need to know that I'm unique? Don't I need to know that I'm valuable? Don't I need to know that I was created for greatness and great things? Don't I need to know that I was created to live a life of contribution? Absolutely. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, because I know that, I can tell the kids that. And let me tell you, that's what I do with my daughters. I share with you all, if you've been following me in any way, if you didn't know, now you're going to know that we homeschool. And one of the benefits of us homeschooling is the fact that had no clue, because we decided to homeschool our kids before they were even born, had no clue that our oldest daughter would be diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. And it was the ideal situation for us to be able to navigate that whole situation from where it was at the time she was diagnosed even to now. What I identified, though, was that we benefited from a tremendous amount of growth, development, and influence upon our identity and awareness as a result of it. The diagnosis and therefore homeschooling. And us being in the trenches with our kids on a day-to-day, being able to take them to different places and have experiences with various different groups of people, be a part of business meetings, be a part of sales conversations, be a part of delivery of service and things of that sort. Like, it's giving them some exposure in a lot of respects, but they've had to deal with the very constructs of their identity in a very raw manner because of all those exposures, right? And one of the things that we've continued to communicate to them is those 5 things. But let me share this with you. We live in a time where things are so difficult. We're dealing with inflation and difficulties that have impacts on our focus and commitment that are more subtle in how they hurt us and bring about chaos, frustration, and confusion. And the tensions of our current day are such that kids and adults alike are contemplating taking their life as a better option than persevering through the difficulties. And only if someone understands, or at least knows, that they are loved, that they are unique, that they are valuable, that they were created for greatness and great things, that they were created to live a life of contribution, are they in a position to give any level of commitment? Now, let me share this with you. So I shared that my oldest daughter, in another segment that I talked about some things, I shared that my now 14-year-old actually attempted to take her life with her medications in the first year of her being diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. And on the one hand, that was very difficult to deal with. You know, you're sitting and watching your child give up. You're sitting and watching her feel like it's hopeless. You're seeing her feel like when she has someone next to her, with her mom and I really in the trenches with her, and other people supporting her, how just her thought process and beliefs about the situation and just how tough it is, causing her to say, I just give up. Now, as a result of my daughter's experiences, I started doing some research and discovered that kids as young as 4 years old now are giving same consideration to taking their life as kids that were 10. And it was a point in time, I think somewhere around 2011, 2012, the youngest age was 10. And as time has gone on, that age has just continued to drop. And, you know, we see a lot of the mental health issues today that are going on. But I'm talking about the elephant in the room. But there's 2 reasons I'm talking about the elephant in the room. I'm talking about the elephant in the room on the one hand because of kids, and I'll come back to that. I'm talking about the elephant in the room because of also adults. Because adults are in greater numbers as well looking at taking their life as an option. And I can speak to that as one who's actually dealt with those thoughts and the assault of those ideas upon my own mind. Yeah. I'm talking about as early, as recent as last year, with dealing with certain difficulties in my own life. Found myself in a position to where the thoughts were coming to me, and I'm sitting here like, no, I ain't doing that. But why wasn't I not going to do that? Two reasons. One of them is the 5 sayings. I am loved. I am unique. I am valuable. I was created for greatness and great things. I was created to live a life of contribution. I believe that myself. I'm not about to go out here and share this not only with kids out there and help them grow, but also I'm not going to go share this with my kids and not myself believe it. One of the things with regard to wellness is you need to be well by believing what it is that you put out. Be about pursuing it. No, you got to be flawless in your execution. Be persistent in your commitment, right? Consistently committed to what it is that you're doing. That's really the true perspective of perfection. Now, human beings are not able to be flawlessly executing and, be able to have no issues. We're not capable of doing that, but we can be consistently committed in our purpose, in our pursuit. Absolutely. Consistently pursuant, persistently pursuing in our pursuit. Yeah, that's really perfection. And so you got to be pursuing what it is that you proclaiming, that you putting out there. Yeah, over here telling people that you are you believe you're loved, you believe you're unique, and you believe you're valuable, you believe you're created for greatness and great things, you believe you were created to live a life of contribution, and you don't act like that. Well, I'm not saying that's you. You may not believe it. I would encourage you to believe it. But adults, here's why I say that. If adults at higher rates are believing that a better option is to take their own life, do you understand what that means about our kids? That they themselves will believe it is a better option to take their own life. One of the ways in which we need to achieve kid wellness is that we need to improve, increase, and implement the highest level of wellness within our own selves. And it starts with our own identity. It starts with what we believe about our worth and value. Let me tell you something. There's 5 sayings you can say. 5 sayings that you can come to believe that will enable you, and you be repetitive in communicating this to you. Repeat it daily. Repeat it throughout the day. I am loved. I am unique. I am valuable. I was created for greatness and great things. I was created to live a life of contribution. Because I guarantee you, life is hard. Life is difficult. Challenges come. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Sometimes you're always winning and then you have a big loss. And sometimes you seem like you've always been losing and you're waiting on your win. Come on now. But I had the thoughts. Yes, as early as last year. Difficulties, frustrations. What kept me? Yes, 5 sayings. It did. I kept telling myself, hey, I'm loved. I'm unique. I'm valuable. I was created for greatness and great things. I was created to live a life of contribution. Yeah. Second thing, I realized because of those 5 greatness and because of the perspectives of those 5 sayings, because of the thought process of those 5 sayings, there will be a lot of people who would miss out on benefit, value, because I decided to check out. I decided to give up. Listen, we should be sensitive to the reality of someone taking their life. But the truth is, that's giving up. It is quitting at the worst level. And y'all, I was a quitter. I've shared this here on this platform. I was a quitter. I quit 4 sports, not just 4 sports. There's a lot of other things I quit. I was a quitter. I developed a habit and a regular practice of giving up, not being persistent where I had the ability to persist. In other words, I wasn't resigning from something that was not valuable for me. It wasn't that. It was, I was giving up when it was something that was overtaking me, that was succumbing me, or that was subduing me and I was succumbing to it. Yeah, that's what I was doing when I was doing all the quitting. And here's one of the things I discovered. When you make a habit of quitting, subconsciously, what you're not only developing is a habit, but you're developing a program of thought process that if something is really, really difficult, you're going to quit and you're going to look for the greatest way in which to quit. That's not wellness. That's weakness. That's within the context of our reality of mental health. Now listen to me. I understand that there are the endorphins and the chemicals in our brains and the context of our anatomical makeup that may need to be dealt with, that can give you a means of being able to be stabilized and all that kind of stuff. Deal with that. But even when you deal with that, you need to go back to the heart and understand, go back to the core and understand if there is a flaw in the way you think about yourself. You got to go back to the core and identify if there is a flaw in the identity context you have about yourself. Like, do you have an issue in the worth and value that you believe you have about yourself? Or are you ascribing to, for example, the 5 greatness sayings of I am loved, I am unique, I am valuable, I was created for greatness and great things, and I was created to live a life of contribution. I got something to offer in this world that nobody else does. Why? Because I have a unique fingerprint that needs to be felt. You see, I think that one of the things that positions us to not be truly engaged with our worth and value is that we're not looking at our worth and value in the context of what it is we are able to put out. It's more so we're looking at our worth and value in the context of what we're trying to get in, what we're trying to take in, what we're trying to receive. You know, I've been in a position before to where I couldn't buy a job. If I had $1 million and I said, hey, I'll pay you $1 million to hire me, they wouldn't do it. I've been in that place before. I've been in that place to where I couldn't buy work. What do? What happens in your mind when it seems like everybody is rejecting you, but really they are positioning you for where you need to be? Let me say this. When you understand that you are loved, you are unique, you are valuable, you were created for greatness and great things, you were created to live a life of contribution, really every situation that you experience, whether it's chaos, frustration, confusion, or it doesn't feel like that at all, you look at it as it's designed to be a catapulting reality for you. Catapulting reality. But let me get back to kid wellness. I've been talking about it, but I had to set some precedent. One of the reasons that my wife and I were able to provide support to our daughter in navigating through the situations that she dealt with was because, on the one hand, both of us have some background in psychology and various other things. And don't think that I'm saying that if you got background in those things, that's the only way you can navigate and help your children to navigate these types of things. It just helped us. On the other hand, the reason that we were able to help her deal with that is because we got down to the level of making sure she understood that her worth and value was high with us, and that we wanted her, and it was important for her to be able to raise the level of worth and value she had for herself. You see, here's what we've got to understand. If we do not encourage the focus and attentiveness on worth and value, then what we're encouraging instead of that is going to be the focus and the attentiveness, and we're going to continue to not only persist in the direction of there being more of a likelihood of bullying, suicide, and ended up in prison. We're going to cause these kids to be minimized in the reality of value they will be able to contribute when they are adults. Like, it's been said for probably about 5 to 10 years at this point. Simon Sinek is one of the main people who spoke about this, that, you know, kids today, they are coming into the work environment, and as such, it's like they're having to get things that they really should have got in their childhood. And he says it this way, that they were dealt a bad hand. Yeah, I agree. But here's the thing. Doesn't matter. Everybody has the opportunity to contribute to the value of the weakness, and contribute to the value of the kids, and help to address the problem of the weakness they have. And I got one solution to provide. It's connected with the 5 greatness sayings. Walk around, look at a kid, and tell that kid, after you get the parents' permission, of course, the guardian's permission, hey, can I share something encouraging with the kid? Just want you to know you are loved. You are unique. You are valuable. You were created for greatness and great things. You were created to live a life of contribution. And watch that kid probably have no clue, looking in your face like, but it would be a pivotal experience for them. And if they're of a certain age, they'll remember it. Right? I want to issue a challenge. I want to issue a challenge. Be challenged to do this. Walk up to an adult and say, hey, you know, I'm participating in the Kid Wellness Challenge. And here's what I want to do. I want to say to your kid who's with you, you are loved, you are unique, you are valuable, you were created for greatness and great things. You were created to live a life of contribution. Would it be all right if I share that with them? Say that to the adult. You know, ask them, right? And then if they give you that permission, you turn to that kid, you ask, what's the kid's name? What's your name? You know, how you doing? And you say to him, hey, Johnny, I want you to know you are loved. You are unique. You are valuable. You were created for greatness and great things. You were created to live a life of contribution. You be well, Johnny. And as Leo says, you be great. You hear me now? I'll just leave that alone. Leave that alone. Let's leave that for Leo. Go out. Now you say, Leo, what you doing? What you doing, Leo? I'm trying to connect you with this unique solution I always talk about, which is what? Doing for others is doing for self. See, I want you to understand that doing for others is doing for self is not just in the context of money. Let me share something. There's 5 ways, five influences that we are able to leverage, or 5 sources, means of influence. That's what I'm going to call it. 5 means of influence that we have, that we're able to utilize in our generosity expression to people. Number 1 is time. Then we got energy, effort, skills, resources. And effort and skills can kind of be the same. Energy can be the same, but they're distinctively different. I'm not going to get into them, but time, energy, effort, skills, resources. And more skills and effort can kind of be similar, but there's, like I said, it's a distinction. What you've got to realize is, a lot of times people look at giving to other people primarily in the context of the resources. It's not just in your money. Sometimes you need to give somebody your time. Sometimes you need to give people your energy. Sometimes you need to give them your effort. Sometimes you need to give them some skill. Give them your skill. In the context of effort, this is what I'm talking about. Like the effort of helping to let your effort be of value and benefit for somebody else. And it's kind of in the context of skill because you're teaching them something. You're teaching them, the little kids, even if they're older, go up and tell an adult, let me tell you something. I want you to know you are loved. You don't even have to know them, but they might need that right in that moment. You are loved. You are unique. You are valuable. You were created for greatness and great things. You were created to live a life of contribution. I think about this right now. I think about, man, no, I didn't. I don't work at that university that the vice president that I talked about who took her life, the vice president that was dealing with workplace bullying, and she took her life because of the weight of it, the weight of the confusion, chaos, and frustration. I think about man, what if I could have been there to just say to her, hey, listen, I know it's tough what you're going through, but I want you to know 5 things. You are loved. You are unique. You are valuable. You were created for greatness and great things. You were created to live a life of contribution. Believe that about yourself more than what you believe about yourself in regard to this situation. Let's give that to our kids. Let's give that to the people around us. Let's remind people of their worth and value, and that giving up on their worth and value is also giving up on others. This is what I told my wife. I said, I've had some very difficult situations in my life. Been fired from a job that I don't even know how that happened, because I was the guy that was hiring and firing people for this company, and then the way they let me go was completely contrary to the policy and procedure. It's like, whew, wow. I mean, you just get snuck like that. Wow. Had to resign from a company as of a forced resignation, and dealt with difficulties in other places and different experiences in my life. Was put out of places, connected with relatives, and it was crazy. I've had some experiences. I've been in some dark moments where the plaguing thought of taking my life was literally just ruminating over and over again. Over and over again. And I told my wife, I said, let me just be honest with you. I love God. But the main thing I love about God is that He allowed me to have you. Because my reason for committing myself to not giving up was because of you and our girls. I realized that y'all loved me. I realized that I was of value to you. I realized that I had a unique contribution in your life, and that what I was created for, greatness and great things, and to live a life of contribution, was worth pursuing because of you. As a matter of fact, that's why I do what I do today. That's why we inspire the globe. That's why we breathe solutions into the world's problem. That's why we, we have content delivery. That's why we have solution creation, meaning we're going to share with you what you need to know, and then we're going to position you to apply what you need to know. That's why we do it. That's why, even as one of our solutions, we have our strategy of transform kids' minds, so that we can actually put kids on the trajectory, encourage them to be on the trajectory of understanding that you can prevent the bullying from taking you out. Meaning, if you get bullied, why? Because life can feel like a bully. You have situations and circumstances, man. I just had an issue with my vehicle actually going out in a certain way. Like, you just feel bullied. So how do you respond to that? Huh? I'm not saying bullying is okay. It's wrong. But what if it happens? How do you respond? And when you have a solid base, kid or adult, when you have a solid base of understanding in the context of your worth and value, you will be able to navigate the most difficult, chaotic, frustrating, and confusing situations. I'm telling you not just what I heard. I'm telling you what I know. I'm telling you what I know, people. Listen, I'm going to give it to you again. These 5 sayings. When you understand the value of these 5 sayings in your worth and value, when you give yourself fully and completely to the benefit of your worth and value, utilizing constructs like putting perspectives in your mind like these 5 sayings, it will change the game for you. And I tell you that it will change the game for the kids. Like I'm telling you, we talking about kid wellness today, but us as adults getting wellness is going to help the kids get wellness. Listen to me, I'm telling you. Here's the 5 sayings again. I am loved. I am unique. I am valuable. I was created for greatness and great things. I was created to live a life of contribution. But remember, I told you I issued you a challenge. Here's the challenge. Go out and you find somebody, adult or child. If it's a child, make sure you let the adult know what you're going to say. So if it's a child situation, here's how to look. Go up to the adult. Hey, I'd love to share some worth and value perspective with this kid. This is what I would say. You are loved. You are unique. You are valuable. You were created for greatness and great things. You were created to live a life of contribution. Can I share that with them? If they give you the permission, go ahead and share it with them. Lift them up. Lift their worth and value. But also, give it to an adult. Walk up to somebody who might be having a bad day. Walk up to somebody who look like they might be okay. Walk up to somebody who look like they're not sure they're okay. Walk up to somebody. Get moved within yourself to go over to somebody and build up their worth and value. And say, hey, you are loved. Just want you to know you are loved. You are unique. You are valuable. You were created for greatness and great things. You were created to live a life of contribution. But more than anything, do it for the kids. Position the kids to have in their mind their understanding of their worth and value, because this is an unfortunate reality that we are at one of the highest, worst levels in our society of kids looking at suicide as an option and being more on the trajectory of crime and prison than anything else. It's unfortunate. And so, yeah, we got a lot of anti-campaigns. And don't get me wrong, it's okay to be against something. But remember, where our focus goes, our energy flows. And so let's focus on what's encouraging, not necessarily against. Let's focus on what's pro-encouragement rather than focusing on what's anti-X, Y, and Z. Like, get these kids prepared for the future that they're going to have. Get these kids prepared for the reality that they're going to actually be running companies, that they're going to be the ones to take over our society. And it's important that they have a worth and value as it pertains to their contribution of great proportion now before they get there. Because I promise you, they're going to deal with some difficulties. Business is hard. I tell my students, this is one of the things I shared on one of the first days of class in my business principles class. I say, look, business is an uncomfortable environment that leads to a lot of comfort. But guess what? You got to wade through all the uncomfortable stuff, all the discomfort. You got to get through it. And I love how Myron Golden said, I've talked about this before. Myron Golden said it. He said, listen, all work works. Now here's the thing. When it ain't working for you, which is one of the ways, it's working on you. But you got to understand, it's working on you so that you can become the person for which your work can work for. These are the types of things the kids need to understand. But before we even get there, they need to know that they are loved, that they are unique, that they are valuable, that they were created for greatness and great things, that they were created to live a life of contribution, and understand that there is a purpose for their presence here. 21 days of wellness. And on day 13, we have talked about kid wellness. And again, I ask you, are you going to accept the challenge to go out and first and foremost tell a kid that they are loved, that they are unique, that they are valuable, that they were created for greatness and great things, that they were created to live a life of contribution? Do that. If you accept it, do that. Now remember what I told you. I got to say this again. Ask the adult that's with the kid. Don't just say it. And let the adult know first what you're going to say to him so they can give you permission, okay? But then, after you encourage a kid or two, encourage some adults as well. I'm serious. Walk up to someone. We've been doing it the last 21 days. I'm late today. I usually at 10 a.m., but I save it on the platform so you can go back and check it out. Anyway, go up to someone. Go up to someone that looks like they're going through. Someone who doesn't necessarily look like they're going through. Go and look at someone who's maybe but not sure, regardless. And you say to them this: hey, I got something I want to tell you. You are loved. You're unique. You're valuable. You were created for greatness and great things. You were created to live a life of contribution. But let me do something real quick. Let me look you in the eye. And let me tell you, you are loved. You are unique. You are valuable. You were created for greatness and great things, and you were created to live a life of contribution. I believe that. You were. I believe that you are. And I believe that first and foremost because I believe it for myself first. One of the things with regard to not only wellness as a whole, but specifically kid wellness as I'm talking about today, you got to have wellness to give wellness. And if you're giving a kid something that you don't have, I don't think they're going to see it as something valuable for them. But if you got wellness, if you got these 5 greatness sayings, if you are walking around saying, I am loved, I am unique, I am valuable, I was created for greatness and great things, I was created to live a life of contribution, I promise you it's going to be contagious to other people. Last thing that I'll say before I get out of here. I had an opportunity to have a conversation with a client, technically a new client, and give them some value. And one of the things that he said to me was this. He said, man, I'm not even on LinkedIn a lot. And even when I do get on there, I'm looking for certain things and so on and so forth. He said, but man, I started coming across your stuff and it was like, man, I was just drawn to it. Why? Why was he drawn to my stuff? One word: authenticity. It was just real. And let me tell you something. I hadn't always been real. What do you mean, Leo? You hadn't always been real. See, I can give value in teaching and coaching and training and speaking and a lot of other ways, strategy and execution and blah, blah, blah. I can do all of that. But here's the thing. When I was showing up trying to get something. I was showing up trying to draw on something. I was trying to receive something. When I found myself in the position to show up to release something, show up to give something, show up to launch something, it changed the game for me. Yes, it changed the game for me. Why? Because I was changing the game for other people. Not just I am. I'm changing the game for other people. Why? Because I'm showing up to release. Release what? The love that I have. Release what else? The uniqueness that I have. What else? The value that I have. What else? The greatness that I was created for. And the contribution that I was made to give. Yeah. Are you showing up to get? Are you showing up to receive? Are you showing up for what you can extract, for what you can draw? Are you showing up to release? Are you showing up to launch? Are you showing up to let out what is valuable? Here's the truth. Somebody who needs it a whole lot right now is the kids. Listen, let me say this last thing. I know I said I was going to say something else, but I really got to share this. For you parents out there, if you feel like it's like, how do I connect with my kid, right? How do I connect with my kids? And maybe you haven't really connected at the highest level in the past. Maybe you got a friend who you've observed who's going through and not really sure how to connect with their kid and things that's going on. The truth of the matter is this. I'm going to give you this. You can help rebuild, reestablish, reconnect, and provide value and worth in your kid by using this tool that I'm giving you. I'll put it even in every one of these posts. I'll put it in the description. And I'll put those 5 sayings down there. Take it. Use it. Go to your kid. Yeah, you can say I'm proud of you, but I'm telling you, you use these words, they gonna know you proud of them. Hey, I just want you to know you're loved. You're unique. You are valuable. You were created for greatness and great things. You were created to live a life of contribution. And then you turn around and you teach the kid how to speak it for themselves. Teach that kid how to affirm their worth and value with those 5 sayings. I am loved. And they can say it with confidence because somebody just told them they are. You see the power of that? See, it's one thing if the kid is saying, I am loved, I am unique, I am valuable, I was created for greatness and great things, I was created to live a life of contribution, and nobody told them. But if somebody says to them, hey, let me tell you something. You're loved. You're unique. You're valuable. You were created for greatness and great things. You were created to live a life of contribution. You boost them and build them in a profound way. And when you teach them how to say it themselves, they're not just hearing themselves say it. They're having an affirmation that was reaffirmed and confirmed by someone else. I'm going to get off my podium a bit about it. This is too good. Listen, the chaos, the frustration, the confusion may dwindle. It may not. It may stay the same. It may get worse in our generation or for the generation after. But regardless of what the chaos, the frustration, the confusion is, give them their worth and value, support, and strength. Not to mention, if you want to not just tell this kid and other kids, if you want to tell some kids and you're looking for some kids to tell and you're not sure how to tell some other kids, or you may be a little shy to tell some kids that they're loved, they're unique, they're valuable, that they were created for great things and they were created to live a life contribution. Guess what? Go to the link in my bio or description and you get there. You can actually see how you can actually still do the same thing without having to stand in front of people. Because I know some people are a little shy. It's okay. We got some ways for you to do it. I told you, that's what we do. We actually give content. We deliver content, but we also create solutions for people to apply. That's why you got the challenge. Okay, it's time for me to get off my podium. Kid wellness is pivotal. And the kid wellness needs to follow adult wellness. We need the big people well before we get the little people well. Like, we got to be well ourselves. We got to be well in our worth and value. We got to be well in what we think about ourselves so we can help them be well in what they think about themselves. And I go back to the lady who took her life, the vice president at that institution that took her life. How many, if she got nieces and nephews, if she got situations and circumstances of them and their lives looking at what her choice and decision was, what do you think they might do? I'm going to tell you right now, I had my parents growing up, but I also had some aunts and uncles that I loved. And if my uncle would have gave up, I know how that would have impacted me. I know how that would have affected me. I know. So let's pursue our wellness. Let's be consistent with our wellness. See, if you want to be perfect in wellness, here's what you do. Don't look to be flawless in your wellness. Look to be consistently pursuant of your wellness. And your consistent pursuit of wellness will position you to achieve that wellness. And guess what? Then you can give that wellness to the kids. Let's be well. As I often say, be great. You hear me now?